welcome everyone to the franchise mode. Okay, here we go. So, franchise mode of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's take a look at the contracts here. Willie Nee, Matthews. Honestly, how long is Matthews' contract for? 3 more years. Willie Nylander has 7 more years left. Okay. Johnny T. 2 this year and the next year. I can't trade him, but okay, so in 2 years I could trade Willie Nylander if I wanted to, which most likely I will, as he's getting up there in age, and you know, we need to make some sort of switch in this time and age for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We need to get some contracts for the defensive side of things, because we have our top two defensemen are just they're in their 30s. We need a young player who can replace them, that is like in their mid to early 20s. So I mean, if we can trade some players to get some young defensemen, or have some prospects that could help out, that would be amazing. Now here we go here. Run. Sign Henry. Let's see what he can do. I doubt he can grow into a high 80 with just a little bit of time. I doubt it, but I'm not saying that there is not a chance. Now, what we are going to do is we will trade for a defenseman, and I know which defenseman I want. He is young. Yes, he'll be playing in the WHL. He would be still growing into that NHL mode, or NHL player, or he'll be playing in the AHL. Is Tanner Molendyk. He is from Saskatoon, and I don't mind that. I just want to try and grow him into a defenseman that can play into the NHL as soon as possible for the young players. So we don't have a first overall pick this year. I'll give up my 5th rounder and stretcher for Tanner Molendyk. I feel like that would be a good pick. A good trade there. Let's do a 5th as well. 2 5ths. 126 and 2027. Not entirely thrilled on that. That's okay. I'll give you Columbus's 2nd rounder of next year. There we go. So we still have our 2nd rounder. The only downside is Boston. Boston has our 1st round pick, which turned out to be Toronto's. Boston never had Toronto's 1st round pick of this year in that whole Fraser Minton, Brendan Carlo trade. But I will say, I did like Fraser Minton on the Toronto Maple Leafs, as he was a pretty good player for Toronto. Didn't have the points in the 15 games, but still was able to produce points. He would fit on the 4th line center. He would be a great centerman for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They want a young Toronto Maple Leaf that can run their center. That is perfect. That would be perfect to get rid of to replace John Tavares. Great centerman there. Now, if I were to give up a player to get him, I'd give up Calle Jarnkrok. I already know I'm not going to be getting our first overall or our first round pick, so I will have to give that up, and I will give you a second rounder because I want to get rid of Yarncroc for Fraser Minton, a young player that will be coming in to replace a veteran player, as they don't want to give him up. That is perfectly okay. I'll give you a third round pick as well for the 2031. Ooh. Okay, you know what? I will just give you a first round pick of 2031. It's probably not going to be the best look here, but we gave 2 first rounders to Boston. That is not looking good, and I know Toronto fans is not going to be happy considering Boston is their least favorite team to go up against, as Boston was the team that was haunting Toronto. So now we made a trade with him, with Boston. Jasper Kotkaniemi. Not worth it. Now the Stars. The Stars, I would love to have Wyatt Johnston. He's a young player who can easily replace Jonathan Tavares. Easily could replace Jonathan Tavares. Or Thomas Harley, who can be a good defenseman, who is young. Could replace Morgan Riley. Or maybe even a Matthew Bourque. Bourque could be in the top, or the not the top, but the bottom 6 role. He could replace them. There are so many good young players here in Dallas that could replace a lot of issues that Toronto has. For example, our offensive prospect, our centers who can replace the old veterans like Tavares or Domi, but we also have a lot of young players who can fix and replace them. Easton Cowan, he's going to be playing in for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year, and I'm going to keep him there. Now for our defensive side of things, we have very little young players. The only young player that we have now that is in the AHL is Tanner Molendyk, who has a chance to make it to the NHL by the age of 22, 23, who would be a low 80, but I know can grow into a high 80s. Carlo, I would love to keep around. He is an unbelievable defenseman, but he is 28. He's getting up there in age, but he is a unbelievable defenseman. OEL, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, I would trade away because he will digress in his overall, and in like a season or 2, maybe even 3, or heck, maybe this season he might digress. I don't want that. Now Riley, he's 31. I would keep him, but with the last 2 years of his contract, which at this point is 3 years. In 3 years, I can see him potentially going, like, digressing and being an 83, maybe 82. And we just need young defensemen that can help out. And I think Tanner Molendyk would help out a lot. Yeah, okay. So there we go. Isaac Howard. I would take Matthew Savoy, but he's good in Edmonton. Isaac Howard though, 21. Tampa Bay, none. Yeah, no. I'll keep Howard there. no one that I'm really looking to trade for. So let's get the first season number 1 out of the way. Craig, what do you got to say? Here we go. Decline that trade. Alright, let's take this. Let's sim one every month. See how it goes. See how the point production is for every player and see what we need to improve. See what we need to to change things. So far, it isn't really the best with our record with a 2-3-1 so far, but that is only in the first 7 games. Let's see how we do at the end of the month. See if we have to make any changes defensively. No, 5-5-1. Let's see the point production. Nylander leading the team so far. Nice. Where is Matthews? Matthews. Come on, buddy. You are 92 overall, and you're letting an 89 take your spot. You're letting a 87 defenseman, and you're letting a fucking 89, 2 89s and an 87 take your place, and you're a 92, brother. You have Nylander, you have Nyes on your line. Come on, Matthews. You can do better. You can produce those points. Come on, buddy. I need you to wake up. Wake up. Let's have a good career here in Toronto, or else your contract will be done by the time it is up and you will be out of Toronto. I am not afraid to trade Austin Matthews away, nor any of the big name players like Willie Nylander or John Tavares or any big name players here in Toronto. I am not afraid to trade away. Nyes, I will keep him because he is a young player who can definitely be a good player for the future. Now that month was it was alright. Let's see who is the point production leader. Willie Nylander, beautiful. Matthews, there you go, Matthews. There you go. That is the Matthews I know. Right then and there, having over a point per game, not really that big of a over point per game, but still over a point per game. That is what I like to see. And Nice has a point per game. I love that. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at the goaltending situation here. Who is leading? Ooh, Joseph Woll with a 920 save percentage. Jeez, Joseph Woll. Come on, Woll. I need you to actually be a good goaltending here. I need you to get those wins, buddy. Your save percentage is not going to look good if you can't get wins. Help the team win, buddy. That's all you need. 2 shootout losses. Ouch. And a win over the Montreal Canadiens. Let's go. Tampa. 7-2 win over bloody Chicago. Over San Jose. 7-1 loss to Edmonton. We lose to Chicago. God damn. Toronto, wake up, boys. Let's go. Okay. That wasn't the best. We lose to Edmonton 7-1. But that close New Jersey game, that was a close game. I don't know what I want to do here. Nylander already has 50 points in almost 40 games. not Matthews has over a point per game, very well, 4 points over. Nyes, not a point per game, but he can still produce those points, which I'm loving. Let's take a look into the full NHL. Who has the most goals so far? Kaprizov, McKinnon. Bedard has more goals than Austin Matthews. Celebrity is tied with Austin Matthews. Okay. So far, so good. Trying to get this youth movement here in Toronto. Obviously, at the end of this season, at the draft, I will be trading to get that first overall pick. As in real life, Toronto has won the draft lottery, which controversial in my opinion on if Toronto should have won the draft lottery. But right now we're playing not the best. Still need to get that first overall pick. What I might have to do, I might have to restart the whole franchise mode just to go put the Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick back onto Toronto. You know what? That is what I'm going to do. I am going to stop the franchise. I will go back to and create a new franchise, but I am going to do the rosters, player movement, not really wanting to do any player movement, but I will be giving Toronto back their first round pick of the 2026 season. Toronto gets their first round pick back. Then if it is not a top, or if it's not a top 5 pick, I will trade the pick to Boston. That is what I will do. GM Savage. Here we go. GM Savage. Where is Toronto? There's Toronto. Owner mode off. Player morale off. There we go. Salary cap on. One rule for me is I do not like to have injuries on, because I don't want to see or deal with injuries every 5 seconds. Okay, let's go to settings. There we go. Toronto has their first round pick so far. So we will be doing one more that trade to get from the Nashville Predators. We will be doing that trade to get Tanner Molendyk back again. Again, we gotta go with Troy Stecher. And I will do a second overall pick in the 2027 for Tanner Molendyk. There it is. There we go. Okay. Now, at that point... oh, actually, what we should do... or what I should do... I should go to look at the lines. See what the lines are. Turn off the assistant coach on that part. Okay, so Nyes, Matthews, Nylander, +5 of the first line. That is good to go. Dakota Joshua, I am going to keep you there. Cowan, no. Jan Kroc can go back up to the first or to the third line. Easton Cowan, I really want to see what he can do on that center position role. So I'll do that. So let's take a look at the center. 72 faceoffs. I want him to do good on the faceoffs because I want to see how he can do once he gets put onto that center position role. Dennis Hildebrandt. Okay. I'll send down to the AHL Tanner Molendyk. I'll send Hildebrandt down. I might have to trade Anthony Stolarz. Nicholas Robertson. Robertson. Let's see. If I take Lorentz out and put in Robertson, put him on the third line. Or should I put... yeah, I'm going to put him on the third line. Dakota Joshua goes down. Let's see. Okay, let's put in Lorentz there. That does not help. So we're going to need... that will do for now. I don't like that at this point, but it will have to do. That will be for the third line. Defensively, that is good. Goaltending wise, that is good. Let's take out the AHL wise. Okay, Alexander Nylander. There, let's take a look here. Yeah, okay. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some roster moves. Let's go to goaltending. Let's send Hildebrandt down. And let's send Tanner Molendyk down. Let's do that. There we go. That gives that point there. Now let's go edit these lines. Let's go to goaltending first. Let's take him out. Put in a Hildebrandt. Let's go to here. Let's go to the defensive side of things. Let's put in Tanner Molendyk. I'm going to put him on the first line. Put Thrun on the third line. There you go. First line is a +3. Molendyk will have the biggest growth there. Well, should have the biggest growth there. There we go. Now let's get the season underway. Yet again for the second time after having to give Toronto their first round pick back. But like I said, if the Toronto Maple Leafs don't have a top 5 pick, I will trade it to Boston. Trade the first round pick to Boston. If we do get a first round or a top 5 pick, I will keep it just like how it is for in real life. In real life, Toronto needed to have a top 5 pick in order to keep their first rounder, and they did get the top 5 pick. They got the first overall. So if it falls out of the top 5, we will give it to Boston, which at this point with the starting here, it looks like it will be out of a top 5 pick with the start. So I might have to trade it back to Boston. But that is okay, because I could always bring back a young player. Unless this season goes catastrophically downhill. which I'm hoping it does. I'm hoping it does, because I want to try and make the Toronto Maple Leafs a realistic team this year, as they won the first overall pick. If they don't, that is perfectly okay. Simming the last month of 2025, as soon as it hits the 1st of January, I will go back and take a look at the point production here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Luke Schenn, I am not wanting to bring onto the team. I don't want Luke Schenn on the team as of right now. Toronto is slipping down. Luke Schenn, no, sorry Buffalo. As I am very surprised in real life that Buffalo made it to the second round and has won their first game in the second round. Now, there is Willie Nylander, 44 points, 41 points. Where's Matthew Knies? 24 points. Austin Matthews has a +2. Willie Nylander -3 for the +-. That is not looking the best. Now, let's go for the goals. Who has the most goals? Austin Matthews does. Now, in the NHL, Kyle Connor, McDavid, Kucherov are all above Austin Matthews in the goal race. Now, for the points, Macklin Celebrini, a young center player at the age of 19, is leading the league in points. Now, that is what you like to see in San Jose. You want to see your young players produce, and in San Jose they got Macklin Celebrini, and he is producing amazingly for San Jose. Now, I will not be surprised if San Jose, after this year's NHL draft, starts to become a more aggressive team and push for those playoffs. And if they make it into the playoffs next season, I will be 100% honest. I will genuinely be happy for them, since it's been a while. I think since 2018, I think, was the last time that they made it to the playoffs. So I will genuinely be happy for the San Jose Sharks if they make it to the playoffs next season. Boston is the second last team in our division. Not the worst team, but the second worst team in our division. Boston, where it's looking like a whole real life. Troy Stecher, they want to give us back Troy Stecher. No, sirree. I will not take Troy Stecher back. Jensen, no. Ottawa, I don't want to make any trades with Ottawa. EA, if you guys could actually make the trades more interesting when it comes to players, or more realistic, that would be amazing. Jake Bean, no, I do not want to bring Jake Bean into this. There we go. Now it's the 1st of March. Let's take a look at the point production. 68 points for Willie Nylander, 8 points above. Austin Matthews, that's alright. We already know you can't do shit for Toronto right now. No offense to Matthews, he's a great player, but he can't do shit. He cannot. No matter what you do, he cannot. And it's sad to see that, because Toronto is a very good team. They have well-rounded or good players, but just can't seem to put the talent when it matters most. Playoffs. Yeah, so hopefully I can change it up a little bit. So, only made one trade so far in the first season. Not going to make any big splashes yet. Once I see what contracts are like and whose contracts end first, that will determine on what I do first. Which, more or less, Toronto needs defense. That's their biggest issue. They need young defensemen that can help do something now instead of wait until the last moment. So, the trade deadline, nothing looked that interesting that I can actually have done without messing around and sending not the good picks or players to that team. I need to see how the contracts are going to do, whose contracts will be up, whose contracts won't. I need to play it by the book off of that. So 43, 25, and 5 so far, the record for Toronto. Okay, so the last month of the regular season, let's take a look at who has the most points on the team. 90 points for William Nylander. Great job for Willie Nylander. Great job for Austin Matthews. Matthew Nyes on the first line. I mean, he's doing his job. He's getting those points, helping the team out, which I am truly happy for him on that part. Easton Cowan, 25 points, plus 2. Let's take a look at his face-off. So far, it won't come in, but let's take a look. How many face-offs taken? Face-offs won, 46.4% on the face-offs percentage. He needs to work on his face-offs, but he's doing not that bad. Giveaways, takeaways, more giveaways than takeaways, rather not. But that is okay. Austin Matthews with 139 takeaways. Jeez. Matthews is a takeaway machine. Good job, Matthews. Okay, here we go. Final games of the season. I always try to make sure in the franchise to always sim the first season before making any trades, but I wanted to do one trade before the first season even starts, which that was the Tanner Molendyk trade, because as of right now, Toronto needs young defensemen. Tanner Molendyk would fit perfectly there. It would make more sense. Now Austin Matthews, 86 points in 82 games. Matthews, where is that 90-point season, buddy? Where is that 90-point season? Last season, holy. Yeah. Now let's go take a look at the Vegas Golden Knights. Mitch Marner, 54 points with Vegas. I'm sorry, Marner, 54 points. This team, oh gosh. Okay, where did Vegas sit? Vegas didn't even make the playoffs. Only 2 teams, LA and the fucking Oilers, made it to the playoffs. So 2 Pacific teams. Edmonton was 3rd. Toronto was 5th. Any more Canadian teams? No more. Montreal! Montreal makes it to the playoffs. Okay. Boston made it into the playoffs. Just barely, though. Buffalo missed the playoffs. Vancouver missed the playoffs. Anaheim. Oh my gosh. Okay. That is perfectly okay. Who is the worst team? The Calgary Flames were the worst team in the NHL. Let's pay attention to that. Calgary was the worst team in the NHL. Let's keep that in mind. Does Calgary get the first overall pick? Or do they not? Okay, first round is between Toronto and the Florida Panthers. Toronto and Florida. Let's simulate the game. Times 8. Let's see who gets on the board first. Will it be the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Florida Panthers? So far, it's all about goaltending right now. Joseph Woll is keeping Toronto into this, but Sergei Bobrovsky is keeping Florida into it. Power play for Bobrovsky, and the Panthers goes nowhere. Toronto power play goes nowhere. Florida power play, a long power play, goes nowhere. Let's take a look at the power play. At the penalties right now. Oh gosh, Toronto. 4 power plays in the second period. First period, no power plays. But in the second period, 4 for Toronto, 1 for Florida. Jeez, Toronto. Let's take a look at the shots. Matthews with the last shot of the period. That's okay. 20 shots for Florida, 16 for Toronto, 0-0 tied. Very close game, I will say so. Still no goal. It's going to come down to the wire, if not overtime. There it is. Toronto has a 1-0 lead. And they take the 1-0 lead in the playoffs. Let's take a look at the home stats. Domi and Easton Cowan with a point. Is that his first playoff point? Yes, it is. I think it's his first playoff point in his NHL career. Let's take a look. Rookie points. Yes, it is. Easton Cowan's first point in his NHL playoff career. Toronto with a 1-0 series lead. Let's see, can Toronto hold on to the 1-0 series lead, or will they put on the same production like they have every time they make it to the playoffs? First round exit, or will they get past the first round and make it to the second round and then do the second round exit? Christopher Tanev with a goal to put Toronto up 1-0 over the Panthers and Sergei Bobrovsky. Let's take a look again. Oh, Matthew Tkachuk puts Florida on the board. First goal for Florida. Okay, second period is done. There it is, the Florida Power to get 2 goals here in the third period, but Toronto is still down by 1. Can Toronto produce more points? Could they come back? No, no, they won't. And Florida takes game 2. Well, it is a tied series at 1 apiece. 1 for each side. Let's into the next game. Who will take the series in a commanding 2-1? Will it be Florida or will it be Toronto? Toronto are battling their demons. And Florida takes a 1-0 lead so far. First period, it's a 1-0 lead for Florida. Will Toronto have a chance? Power play opportunity. No, goes nowhere. Florida power play goes nowhere. Toronto power play goes nowhere. Still tied up at 1, or not tied, but still Florida has the lead here in the game. 1-0. 1-0 so far after 2 periods. Will Toronto tie it up or will Florida take the lead? Toronto ties it up. Austin Matthews with the goal. And it's tied at 1 apiece. Cowan! His first goal! His first goal in the NHL playoffs. Not bad. 2-1 for Toronto. Can Florida tie it up? No, they do not. And Toronto takes the lead. Rookie points, 2 points for Easton Cowan. Good little rookie debut for Easton Cowan here in the playoffs. And Cowan with another goal. Is Easton Cowan looking to take the job away from Austin Matthews? Now, the biggest thing for Easton Cowan to take the job from Austin Matthews is if he says that his tummy hurts too much to play through a game. Now, that is how you know he will be a Matthews 2.0. Florida takes the lead. Jake McCabe ties it up for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And through 2 periods, it is tied at 2 for each for Florida and Toronto. Here we go with the 3rd period. Who will take the lead and take game number 4? Seth Jones takes the lead for the Florida Panthers. Will Toronto tie it up late here in the 3rd period, or will Florida tie the series at 3? And Florida will take game number 4. And it is a 2-2 series lead, or 2-2 series tie. Here we go in Toronto at the... Oh my gosh, I forgot what the Toronto Maple Leafs... Is it Scotiabank Arena? I don't know, but there it is. Bocelli makes it a 1-0 lead for Toronto so far here in game number 5. Power play goes nowhere for Toronto. Okay, we need that Toronto magic here. Can they hold on or will they get eliminated for the playoffs? Long power play for Florida. Let's take out the penalties there. Joshua and Bocelli, both 2 minutes. 2nd period goes nowhere for goals, and it's still a 1-0 lead for Toronto. Willie Nylander, 2 goals to make it a 3-0 lead for Toronto. I don't think Florida's going to be able to come back unless they have a late period magic. They need to score 1 now, and they don't. Toronto holds on to have a 3-2 series lead. Now, Game 6 and Game 7 are the two most haunting games for Toronto. Will they overcome their demons? Or will their demons take control? And there it is. Robertson with the first goal for Toronto. 1-0 for Toronto. 1-1. Ekblad ties it up. But Domi says no. Joshua says no. You will not tie it up. Carlos says no! 4-1 for Toronto here in the first period. Here we go with the second period. 5 goals are scored in the first period. 4 for Toronto, 1 for Florida. Will Florida come back? They still have a lot of hockey left, and Matthew Tkachuk says you will not be going up by 3. You will not have a 3-goal lead, but Matthew Nye says yes, we will. 5-2 for Toronto. In Game 6, elimination game for Florida, but Lundell says you will not have a 3-goal lead. But Robertson says yes, we will. 3-goal lead, 6-3 here. Game 6, round 1. Will Toronto get past their demons to go to round number 2? But Sam Bennett says you will not have a 3-goal lead. But Robertson says yes, we will. And they move on to the second round. 7-4 win for Toronto to get past the Florida Panthers. Ooh. Will the playoffs? Who will be versing Toronto in the second round? Will it be Boston? The haunting Boston Bruins that haunt the Toronto Maple Leafs have a chance to go up against them in round 2. Or will the Tampa Bay Lightning go up against the Toronto Maple Leafs? Let's see Game 7 for Boston. Let's go take a look at the AHL production. AHL. Molenbeek with 39 points so far in 72 games, so he has a good point production there. Let's take a look. Will it be Boston? Will it be Toronto? It is the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs in round number 2. Wow. That's all I could say is just, oh my gosh. Now, will Toronto overcome their demons? Or will Boston haunt them for the rest of their lives? Power play for Boston. Long power play goes nowhere. Riley and Tavares took penalties. Toronto on the power play. Dakota Joshua scores here in Toronto. First period, it's 1-0 for Toronto. Here we go, second period. Fraser Minton, the former Leaf, ties up and says, Toronto, you traded me away. Now I'm going to haunt you. And there is Pastrnak makes it a 2-1 lead for the Boston Bruins. Here we go, third period, the third and final period, or will the Toronto Maple Leafs tie it up? Elias Lindholm says no. Lucas says no. We have a 3-goal lead. You can't come back to this game. Lindholm says, yeah, no, you're not coming back. It's a 5-1 win for the Boston Bruins. So far, the haunting is looking more like a reality than just a saying. Game 1 of round 2 goes to Boston. Here we go. Game 2. round 2. Will Toronto come back and fight their demons and say, no, you can have that one game, but we're going to come back. John Tavares scores for Toronto to make it a 1-0 lead for Toronto, but will Boston come back? Boston's only down by 1. First period is done. Toronto has a 1-0 lead. Will Boston come back and score some more goals, or will Toronto do so? That is John Tavares with his second goal of the game. So far, so good for Toronto. 2-0 for Boston. Boston only has 9 shots. After 2 periods, Boston has 13 shots to Toronto's 28. Third period, will Toronto hold the lead, or will Boston come back and take game 2? Who will take game 2 here? That's 10 minutes of the third period. Reichel says, hey, we're not going to let you have that goose egg. We're going to take one off you. So it's a 2-1 lead for Toronto. Final minute, they don't go anywhere, and Toronto takes game 2 here in Toronto at the Scotiabank Arena. Now here we go at the TD Garden in Boston. Well, Boston, just remember the Toronto Maple Leafs here in TD Garden. Will Toronto take an early lead? No, but Hampus Lindholm says no. And Boston has a 1-0 lead for over Toronto. Power play for Toronto goes nowhere. First period is done. 1-0 for Boston. 2-0 for Boston as Charlie. 3-0 for Boston. Broderson, McAvoy. Holy cow, the dismemberment for both teams. Oh my gosh, that is 4 goals in 3 minutes. 5-3 for Boston. Oh my gosh, 4 goals in the second period for Boston, 3 for Toronto. Second period was very interesting. Here we go for the third period. Will Toronto come back and tie it up? They're just down by 2. Will Toronto come back and tie it up, or will Boston make the lead even more? Looks like Boston will take game 3. And they will take game 3. Lowry makes it a 6-3 win over the Toronto Maple Leafs for a 2-1 series lead. Here we go. Will Boston make it a 3-1 series lead? First period is done, tied at 0. No goals in the first. But Charlie McAvoy says, no, we will not have no goals, as we will make it a 1-0, 2-0 game. McAvoy and Pastrnak. But Nia says, no, we will get a goal right back. And Lucas says, no, you will not have a goal to be down by 1. Minton says, do you regret trading me, Toronto? And I'm slowly starting to think Toronto might regret trading Fraser Minton, as he is haunting the Boston Bruins. Morgan Geeky makes it a 5-1 game for Boston, and game 3 will go to Boston. Game 3 goes to Boston, as is a 6-2 game now. Toronto can't handle the Boston Bruins, and Boston is haunting them so massively right now. And Toronto has their backs against the wall. But here we go at the Scotiabank Arena. Will Boston eliminate them in Toronto's home barn? But Matthew scores one Robertson scores one. OEL scores one. I'm pretty sure that's the first goal for Matthews in the second round, but Pasternak says no. Here we go, second period. 4 goals in the first. Who will get the first goal? Next goal could be a big one. Second period is no goals. Third period, next goal could be a big one here. Will Boston score to be down by 1, or will Toronto score to be up by 3? Or will there be no more goals in the remaining period? And Toronto fights back to be down by 1 game of the series, as it's a 3-2 right now, but Boston has a chance to eliminate Toronto in the second round. Here we go, game number 4, or game number 6 here in Boston. If Toronto wins this game, they have a chance at Scotiabank Arena, and there it is. Dakota Joshua makes it a 1-0 lead for Toronto. Still 1-0 for Toronto here after 2 periods. Here we go, the third period. 2-0 for Toronto. Callahan Croak makes it a 3-0. McKay makes it 4-0. They're gonna be forcing Game 7 here if Boston doesn't start to get their act together. There it is. Game 6 goes to Toronto. Now here we go at the Scotiabank Arena. Game 7. Will Toronto fight off their demons, or will their demons come and bite them and get to move on to the third round? To the conference finals. Toronto has a 1-0 lead in the game. On the power play goes nowhere. Tavares is putting more points in than Austin Matthews, I think, so far. At least more goals. First period is done. 1-0 for Toronto. 1-1. Boston ties it up. David Pastrnak. Macaulay Yarncroke says no. Toronto says no. And 2 goals. 2 short-handed goals, but Robertson makes it a 4-1 lead for Toronto. And Reichel says, no, you were not going to have a 3-goal lead over us. And they're down by 2. Never mind. Lindholm says you will not have any goal lead that is higher than 2. But OEL says, yes, we will. But Lindholm says, no, you won't. Power play goes nowhere. 5-4 for Toronto. Well, this is the game where Toronto has a chance to make it to the conference finals. But Boston says no, and they tie it up late. And it's the first overtime here in the playoffs for Toronto. Here we go, 3-minute period lengths. Let's go to the visual. Let's go to camera. True broadcast. Here we go.
For those of you just joining us, you couldn't have picked up
Overtime period here in Toronto. Who will win it? Will Boston win it to move on, or will Toronto win it to move on? Here we go. Come on, Toronto. Move on to the second round. Beat your demons. Or will Boston, aka Toronto's nightmare, win it? Nice happens. Gets Nylander gets hit. They come in. Saved by Woll. Reichel shoots it. Save. That gets blocked. It is nice to Matthews. Matthews skates by. 3-on-2. Matthews! Chance, no! Nylander chance! Save! McAvoy gets it. Here we go. Here's Matthews. Gets body. Domi tries to take that shot. That gets blocked. McCabe tried to pass that. Could not go. Arvidsson skates up for Boston, but Carlo against his former team in the playoffs. They shoot that. That's a save. Reichel to Minton. It would be a storybook tale if Minton scores against his former team to move Boston on. And it would be a storybook if Carlo scores or gets a point against his former team.
Picked up along the wall by Domi. Angles it over to Robertson. Taken by Carlo. And he gives it over to Domi.
Comes Domi. Gets poked.
The Bruins gain possession.
Jokiharju passes over to Zadorov. To Lindholm. Here's Jokiharju. To right. Oh no. Another chance. And no. Let's see. Can Easton Cowan win the face-off here? Yes, he does.
Slides it diagonally to Domi. The Leafs move it in. The Bruins get a hold of it. Gets the puck in deep. The Leafs gain possession along the wall. Tries to feed it over to Tavares. Here's a shot. Big stop right there. The Bruins take possession in the defensive end. Taken along the wall by Reichel. Denies him on the side.
What a save by Woll. Cowan to Domi.
Gaining momentum along the wing. Sent into the offensive zone. The Bruins have it from their own end. Here they come. Sends it deep inside the offensive zone. The Leafs gain control of the puck against the wall. Can't keep a hold of it after that hit. Toronto's got the puck inside the defensive zone. Takes the feed. Shakes himself free. Tries to win it. Oh, what a save to keep it tied. Along the wing of the neutral zone. Handles the pass from the right wing. Takes the shot. Time ticking away and he comes up big. offensive end. Puck picked up by McAvoy. Here's a short pass to Pasternak. They put the puck into the offensive end. Toronto's got the puck. Nylander's gaining momentum. Loses the coverage there. And a nice takeaway in the defensive end by Pasternak. Toronto's got control of it now from their own end. They try to maintain possession inside the defensive zone. And now he angles it across to Nylander. Right for the dirty dangle, and it goes sideways.
Nylander's such a great player, James. He's got great hands and in-tight skill, but just that extra move there, it's a tricky one, and he gets lost in it.
Scooped up along the wall by Arvidsson. Dumps the puck in. Toronto's got a hold of it along the wall. The Leafs have a hold of it in the defensive zone. Puts it in deep. Picked up along the boards by McAvoy. Slides it up to Kostelic. Smart read by the defender to come up with it. Tries to get the puck to Lorentz. And they'll dump it in. Boston's going to play the puck from behind the cage. Poked away in the neutral zone by Järnkrok. The Bruins gain possession in their own end. Jeannot's crossed the line and is on the attack now. Works it across to Husnutinov. Oh, tremendous reflexes with the kick save.
You know the goalie's dialed in when he redirects the puck to the corner.
Toronto's got a hold of the puck. Through the open ice, they're picking up steam. Boston's got the puck. And now he moves it to Jeannot. Knocks the puck loose after a solid hit. Cruz got it along the boards. Oh, that has some heat on it. He makes the save. Puts it on net. Ref blows the whistle as the puck's covered up. This is a face-off they'll definitely want to win here inside the offensive zone. And they take possession here in the offensive zone, and time to go on the attack. And the traffic jam in front blocks the shot. Stops it cold. The Bruins get a hold of the puck along the boards. Down the left wing and into the offensive zone. The Leafs get a hold of the puck in their own end. From the left wing, takes the feed. Fires it into the offensive zone. Slides it on over to Zadorov. Toronto's got control of the puck. The Leafs played along the boards. Picked up along the wall by Tavares. And that's denied by Swayman. Couple along the wall. Quick pass across to Carlo. Staying calm with the save. Quick feed to Tavares. They are really fussing here in the offensive end. Misses. Now it's picked up by the defense. And they go the other way as they clear the zone. Toronto's ready to go on the attack. Dumps it in. Fires it. Oh, what a stop there with time winding down. There's the horn bringing the period to an end, but the night is still young, and so are we. Well, kind of. Stick around. Officials are ready to drop the puck here in overtime. A sink-or-swim moment lies ahead for both sides. Overtime continues. Quick pass to McAvoy. Slides the puck across to Zacha. And he takes the dish. Too many bodies in the way. The Bruins will play it from the defensive zone. From the right side and up the middle. The Bruins carry it along the wall. Great poke check on the reach. Taken along the wall by Nyes. Turns him away. Boston's got the puck in the defensive end. Puts it on net. Oh, slick work with the glove by Wall. A critical draw here. won the draw and they're on the attack. Comes up with the stop. And the goalie covers up for the whistle. A lot on the line here in this offensive zone faceoff. They win the draw and go on the attack. Answers the call with a big save. Puck is frozen and we get a stoppage in play. A big face-off here inside the offensive end. And they take possession off the draw here in their own end. Gets control of the puck here in his own end. Enters the offensive zone from the left. And he gets it fouled. Boston's got a hold of the puck now. Through the neutral zone now, picking up steam. Sends it over to Domi. Middlestats got it in the defensive end. From the left side, takes it at center. Toronto's gained possession along the boards. Cowan's into the offensive zone now on the attack. The Bruins look to start the transition game. Into the attacking area from the left side. Shot! Oh, Tavares with the power save! Moves it to Minton. And that's a great heads-up play by Riley. Moves the puck to Tavares. The Leafs take it along the wall. Poked away by Lowry. Boston's got the puck along the boards. Fires it into the offensive zone. Toronto's looking to break out of their own end. He got all of that one. Toronto's across the blue line. And just got a piece of it to keep it out.
Well, you know he's got the skill set to be able to maintain possession of this puck, but how about the determination to have his eyes on the prize the whole time and to get out of the coverage to be able to get a shot on net? That's courage, and that certainly is a will to take it to the net.
And too much traffic in front blocks that one. Toronto's on the attack. Boston's got possession of the puck. Moves it quickly over to Knies. And that's a smart heads-up play by Lowry. Carries the puck through the neutral zone. Throws it in. The Leafs gain possession along the wall. And that's broken up in the defensive zone by Nylander. Toronto's got the puck inside the defensive zone. Sends the pass over. Shuts him down. Puck is frozen and moving the face-off. A big draw looming here in the offensive zone. Boston's got a hold of the puck. Here they come up along the wing. Quick feed to Lindholm. Solid hit on the play, and that knocks the puck off his stick. Whacks it into the offensive zone. In front of the net, the goaltender covers up for a whistle on the play. This is a face-off they'll definitely want to win here inside the offensive zone. Toronto's won the draw. Now let's see what they can do with it. Pass save, and he makes it look easy. Pasternak's taking it from his own end. Takes a shot. Oh, he gets a blocker on it. What a stop by Wall.
Okay, still in the overtime period.
Here we go. Puck's in deep.
Jeez.
Takes the puck.
This game, okay. Game 7. Overtime 3.
Boston's got it in the defensive zone. The Bruins will play in their own end. Here's a chance. And one last save. There's the horn. Been a fun night of hockey so far. And guess what? We're not done yet. Stick around here on EA Sports.
Still not done in this game, and oh my gosh, overtime period number 4. Oh gosh.
Are you hashtagging overtime challenge on social media? Because they're ready to get it underway.
This could have been a whole nother game already.
And it rolls on here now.
4th overtime period. Someone has to score.
Grabbed along the board by Tanev. And the puck's kicked free. The Bruins have it now. Boston's playing it through the neutral zone. Great reach with the poke check by Nyes. Toronto's got the puck in their own end. Nyes setting up against the wall. Takes it right in the chest.
Oh my gosh. 16:06 left to go here in this fourth overtime period. Someone end it here.
Toronto's won it. Now they'll go on the
But will Toronto still be going up against their demons even more? Or will Boston win it?
Pasternak's got it against the boards.
Oh, Toronto's nightmare.
Look at this down the right wing. They're on the attack. Quick shot.
Good shot. Better save by Swayman. Takes it away. Toronto, no, good save. Zadorov to Pasternak. Does not win it. Here's Michelli, but Pasternak takes it away. Tanev to Riley to Cowan. Easton Cowan to Domi. No. Here's Zadorov to Arvidsson. Holy cow. Toronto. Here's Michelli. To Domi, loses it. To Domi. To Carlo. What a chance. Better save by Swayman.
Boston's working the transition through the middle of the ice. Smart read by the defender to come up with
McAvoy.
McAvoy's got it in the offensive
Nope.
zone.
To OEL. To Carlo.
Slides it across to Domi.
Come on, Toronto. Win it. Be your team. Woo! Wow, what a chance.
We'll get a stoppage in play.
Swayman's been balanced and in great position throughout this entire game, James, and he's weathered the storm at different times within it. Multiple big saves, and the timeliness of them are huge. I mean, coming up with a big one at the right time really sets the temperature for your team.
A big face-off here inside the offensive end.
Come on, Yarn Croc.
Boston's taking possession in their own end. Takes the feed. Good defensive stop with the poke check. Looking to make something happen in the offensive zone. Slides it diagonally to Lindholm.
Just someone win it at this point.
On the attack.
Geeky.
Picked up along the boards by Kiki.
What a chance by Boston, but better say by Wool. Come on, here's Joshua to Gruder. No!
Here's a short pass to Kiki. Boston's got the puck.
Here's Geeky to Medno to McCann.
The pass. From the left side, they get
Joshua. Dakota Joshua
Joshua's got the puck.
to McCabe.
Sneaks by the poke check. Puck grab by Lowry. Into the offensive zone. Tries to feed it over to Lindholm.
Lindholm save.
Keeps it alive. What a stop. And it fakes off a stick in traffic.
Tavares. Could have been a 3-on-2. Tavares, what a chance. Save. Tavares to Nylander.
Puck scooped up by Lindholm.
Here's Middlestad. Saved by Wool. Middlestad shoots it. Save. Here's Laurie to Middlestad. A better save.
A big draw looming here in the offensive zone. Boston's gonna start.
Boston wins it. Save. Another chance. No. Fourth overtime is done.
Giving both teams a chance to get a little breather here, but we've still got lots more action on the ice
Here we go for the 5th overtime. Oh my gosh.
Will someone get a chance to put the game on their stick? Overtime
Someone win it at this point. Please, someone win it.
continues here. The
Here's
next
Pasternak.
lead
Next goal will win the game and the series in Game 7.
offensive zone.
Nylander loses the puck, but regains it, comes in, passes nice, better save.
As a goaltender, you have to be able to read and
Lindholm tries to pass it. No, another chance, save. Matthew Nyes has the puck, passes to the 10, and shoots it, scores! They beat the Bruins, and Toronto goes on to the conference finals. They beat their demons. They beat their nightmare. And Boston goes home. And Toronto moves on. Toronto is off to the conference finals.
Tremendous emotions at both ends of the ice, and here we are with the handshake. I love this moment, Sharon.
Only takes 5 extra overtime periods to move on for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, who will Toronto go up against? And it's New York Islanders versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. John Tavares' former team from 2019. Wow, that took a lot longer for the game to be over. First period, 3-1. Here we go, second period. Toronto is down by 2. Toronto's down by 1 now. And Toronto ties it? But Kyle Palmieri for the Islanders says no. Same with Holmstrom. There it is. Game 1 is over. And New York takes game 3. And it's a 2-1 series. Or 2-0 series, sorry. New York takes game 2. Here we go, game 3. Toronto scores, William Nylander. First period's done. Here we go in the second period. And it's all tied up at 1. Here we go, third period, tied at 2. And Lee breaks the tie for the Islanders. Riley ties the game up. Are we heading to our second overtime of the playoffs? Yes, we are.
We are just about to drop the puck here in overtime. What a time for you to tune in if you're just joining us here now. We are in next goal wins territory now. Who's going to step up and be the hero? And now it's grabbed by Tanev. Both sides digging in for that puck along the wall.
Okay, here we go. Overtime.
Taken along the wall by Palmieri. The Leafs gain control of the puck.
Palmieri's made an incredible play there, James. He stumbles in front of the net, but finds the puck and could have lost it, but manages to stay with it enough to get a shot off.
The Leafs will take it behind the net. Oh, a little Katberger-like play with the stick. Nicely done. The Islanders playing along the wing. Here's a shot. Redirected off one of his own line mates there.
Heineman's been so dialed in confident, James, in particular in the offensive end. I mean, his puck touches are off the charts. He wants it, he trusts his skill set, and he's taking it to the net.
Horvats won the face-off here in the offensive zone. Coughs up possession of the puck. Works it across to Tavares. Toronto's gained the line and into the zone. And that's blocked away. Some solid defensive work in their own end with the poke check. Takes a hit, he goes down to the ice and coughs up the puck.
Just got enough of that one to keep it out. Rebound control is critical in the game of hockey. Putting it to the corner, and now the offensive player has to hound the puck.
And the puck dies with the trapper save. There's the whistle. We get a face-off after the goalie covers up. This is a face-off they'll definitely want to win here inside the offensive zone. The Leafs win the draw. Now let's see what they can do with it. We got a whistle as the puck's frozen. A critical draw here. The Leafs will start off on the attack after winning the draw. The Islanders gain control of the puck against the wall. Holmstrom's got it along the wing. Moves the puck behind the net. Here's a chance. Well save made by Woll. In front and a stoppage on the play as the goaltender covers things up. A lot on the line here in this offensive zone faceoff. The Islanders win the draw. Way too much congestion. Cizikas. Here's a shot. Oh, got a little sliver of it, and it stays out. Grabbed along the board by Heineman. In close. Oh, he got all of it. What a save by Wall.
As a goaltender, sometimes you just have to react. You turn the brain off and you just allow your eyes and your body to do the work for you, and he does exactly that with a reactionary save. Heineman stick breaks, and he's lobbed it back to the bench. He gets a new one. Now he gets back into play quickly.
Scooped up along the wall by Joshua. Puck grab by Cizikas. Across the line along the left wall. And makes the routine save. Handles the puck. Gets the puck in deep. New York's got a hold of it along the wall. From the defensive zone, they move the puck around. And he dodges the poke check there. Here's a chance behind the net. Snappers at the slot. Pulls off into the hole with a puck for a face-off. A big face-off here inside the offensive end. And they win the draw. Now let's see what they can do with it. And he comes up with the save. Tremendous use of the body on the play. With the stop. The Leafs scoop it up along the boards. Loveridge has the puck against the half wall. Stopped by the goaltender. Here's a shot. Oh, it's another save on the play. Toronto's got it now. Tavares with the save. A big draw looming here in the offensive zone. Toronto's won the faceoff. Nowhere for that shot to go through. Toronto's regained possession of the puck. Looks to pass it to Palmieri. Takes the shot. 5 seconds and he makes the save.
Alright,
And
first
we will
overtime
continue
is
to play
done.
on as
Here we
overtime
go.
solves nothing.
Game number 3.
Next.
And the first overtime. So let's see how the second overtime does. Will Toronto win it? Will New York win it? New York has a 2-0 series lead so far.
OT should tell us who wins and who loses, and they're ready to get it underway. Overtime rolls on. The next one is the game winner here. Toronto's gained possession along the boards. And he loses both the puck and his balance after that hit. Quick pass to Barzal. Puck sent over to Lee. Shot! And he comes up with a stop there. This is a face-off they'll definitely want to win here inside the offensive zone. Barzal's won the face-off, and now let's see what they can do. And there's a close save on the play. Toronto's looking to break out. Feeds the puck to Nylander. Fires it. The lane was plugged up and that shot's blocked. Through the neutral zone, moving the puck along the side. Shot! Denied by Wall. Toronto's got the puck along the boards. Tosses it on to Nyes. Good reach to the stick to knock the puck away. Shot! Oh, he got a piece of it to keep it out. A critical draw here. Cowan's won the draw. And that's off target as it hits the body. Picked up along the wall by Shen. New York's going to play the puck from behind the cage. Quick pass to Cowan. And now it's over to Tavares. Broken up at center by Horvat. And that one's denied. And the puck stopper hangs on to get a breather here for the team. A lot on the line here in this offensive zone faceoff. neutral zone. Moves it quickly over to Domi. Can't hang on to the biscuit after that. Here's a shot. Makes the save. And we'll get the whistle after the goaltender hangs on. A big face-off here inside the offensive end. The Leafs take possession here inside the offensive zone. Off the stick. The Leafs have it against the wall. The Islanders have the puck now. New York's gained possession. The Leafs have it in the offensive zone. Toss up the puck after that hit. Unloads a shot. Takes it and this comes off the stick. Oh, the home team is reeling here inside the defensive zone. The fans are nervous. And they'll skate it out of the zone. New York's got the puck against the boards. A chance for the win. Hall's got the puck and he's going to hang on.
Rod's not happy with that last sequence. Knows he has a huge opportunity and just misses the mark and wins it off the post.
A big draw looming here in the offensive zone. And they win the offensive zone face-off. Now let's see if they can capitalize. Woll's going to hang on to the puck for a whistle. This is a face-off they'll definitely want to win here inside the offensive zone. The Leafs get a hold of the puck in their own end. And now they look to make something happen from the neutral zone. Toronto's got the puck against the half wall. Gives them nothing in front. Goaltender covers up and we'll get a face-off. A critical draw here. And they take possession here inside the offensive zone. Puck scooped up by Nylander. Turn that chance aside. The Leafs get a hold of the puck along the boards. Oh, they telegraph the pass, and he takes it off. Puck exits the zone. Along the right wing, they enter the attacking area. Quick feed to Cizikas. Looking to make something happen along the boards. Here's a shot for the win! And he comes up with a huge save! Woll's going to hang on for a whistle.
Canada's found his rhythm in this game and his shot mentality here. He takes this one and he just rips it off the post. That's a tough one. I thought he had it. The goaltender looked like the angle was off, but apparently not.
A lot on the line here in this offensive zone faceoff. And they win the defensive zone faceoff. Quick pass across to Niles. Puts it on net. Oh, he needed to make that save with time winding down. And there it is. The period finally comes to an end, but we are not done here from the rink tonight. Lots more still to come. And they are ready to drop the puck here in OT. A sinker swim moment lies ahead for both sides. Overtime continues. Taken by Lee. Looking to end it. Oh, we are still tied. What a stop.
Wall's been making it look easy out there tonight, James. Multiple big saves in this game, and it's due in large part to his positioning. I mean, he's got real nice balance. He's challenging the shooter, and he's redirecting rebounds. He's doing it all for his team tonight. Now they just got to get the W.
Matthews takes possession right off the draw. Slides the puck over to Nylander. Looks to end it! Top saver will play on!
Oh, that's enormous. James is doing absolutely everything he can to give his team a chance to win.
And now it's grabbed by Puck. Takes it behind the net. Jostling for the puck and he loses control. Stopped by the goaltender.
Sorokin's made a great save on that last play, taking away a high-danger chance because of his ability to anticipate and know where the shooter's coming from.
A big draw looming here in the offensive zone. And they win the face-off and set up to go on the attack. And down he goes as the puck goes free. Too much congestion blocks the shot. Oh, what a save!
Sorokin's movements are outstanding. I mean, he gets the position so quick. He's athletic and he makes a huge save from the slot.
And that shot gets caught in traffic. Good battle along the boards for the puck. The Leafs gain possession along the wall. Nyes takes it across the line. Shot! And he comes up with it. Picked up along the boards by Nyes. Oh, what a save!
What a sequence. I mean, he has been outstanding, making consecutive saves. I mean, his defense, they got to start playing.
They've really got them hemmed in here in their own zone. Streaking through center, they go on the attack. And that goes off course off a body. Battle along the boards. The Leafs have it now. And tries to make a diagonal pass to Robertson. Takes the feed at the point. For the win! Oh, what a save to keep it tied! And they come up with possession off that battle. And that's taken by the defense. Inside the offensive end now down the left. Takes a shot. Goaltender covers it up and we'll get a reset here. This is a face-off they'll definitely want to win here inside the offensive zone. Horvat's got it. Now they'll look to see what they can do with it offensively. Toronto's got it in their own zone. Taken along the wall by Tavares. The Islanders gain possession of the puck here in the offensive end. Taken by Tavares. From center they get into the attacking area. And that goes on the stick. Face-off coming up as the puck goes up and over the glass. A critical draw here. New York's won the draw. Looking for space inside the D zone. Scrum ensues along the boards. And the puck's not loose. Can he maintain possession? Takes the shot. And that's deflected off someone in front. And he takes the feed. Handles the puck at the point. Denies him and saves. A lot on the line here in this offensive zone faceoff. And they win the draw in the offensive zone and they go to work. The Leafs take it across the line. Receives the pass. Toronto's got possession of the puck. Here they come inside the neutral zone. New York's looking to break out of their own end. Here's a short pass to Lorentz. The Leafs have it from the corner. Slides the puck down low. And a heads-up kick. Looking to end it! And he keeps it alive! What a stop!
Sorokin's found his rhythm here as we look at that last save. I mean, he has to be so on the mark right now, to position to be able to make it. His read is perfect. He's tracking well. I mean, you have to be quick and athletic to make that one.
A big face-off here inside the offensive end. The Leafs win that offensive zone face-off. And that shot dives in traffic. They go on the attack through center. Toronto's got control of it now from their own end. Nyes takes the puck. Quick pass to Riley. Nice feed at center, moves up ahead now. Can't get it to go. And that brings the period to an end, but we've got lots more still to come. Stick around. Just moments away from overtime. Sudden death rages on here as we are underway in overtime once again. Quick shot! Comes up with the stop. The Islanders gain control of the puck against the wall. And he'll take a moment to regroup back at center. Sends the pass across the ice. Tosses it to Pulock. New York's got it in their own zone. Tries to dangle and the puck skips away.
Trying a nifty move when you have good hands. Sometimes it works, sometimes it
Gosh,
doesn't. That's what happened there.
this is a long game so far.
The Islanders move the puck in the defensive zone. And now it's grabbed by Pulock. Dishes it off. Picked off by Riley. Moves it.
Nylander for the win! There it is.
There's your overtime winner. He's
And the Leafs win Game 3 in overtime. So I will be ending the stream once the playoffs are done and heading to the draft. So far 0-0, and there it is. Lee with a goal for the Islanders. First period. Second period, still 1-0. Third period, tied at 1. Here we go. And Toronto wins it. Dakota Joshua. Tied up at 2. First period, 0-0. Second period, 1-0. Third period, 2-1 or 2-2. First overtime period done. Second overtime. Who will win it? Will it be the Toronto Maple Leafs or the New York Islanders? And the Islanders win it. (3-2) for Toronto at the first. Second period, 5-3. Third period, 7-5 for Toronto to win and force a Game 7. Who will win to move on to the Stanley Cup Finals? First period, 0-0. Second period, 1-0 for Toronto. Here we go. Big third period. The biggest third period in Toronto's life. since '67, who will move on to the Stanley Cup playoff finals. Will Toronto move on, or will the New York Islanders? And for the first time, the New York Islanders move on to the Stanley Cup Finals. Well, maybe not the first time in their history, but the Toronto Maple Leafs move on, or go home early. Game 1 goes to New York. Game 2, LA ties it. Since the 2013, I believe, was the last time that the Kings moved on to the Stanley Cup Finals. Kings have a 3-1 series lead. Here we go. Game 5. Islanders will not go down without a fight. Here we go. Game 6. And there will be a Game 7. Here we go. Game 7. And the LA Kings win the Stanley Cup. The first time since 2013. And the Stanley Cup, or the draft lottery results, the Nashville Predators win the first overall pick. Calgary, their first time winning the third overall pick. So Cole Pickford goes to Nashville. Stenberg goes to I forgot who. And Scott goes to Calgary. Toronto, as of right now, I am wanting to get some defensemen. Toronto needs some defensemen. So as the Toronto Maple Leafs GM, I'm going to be drafting some defensemen. But with that, I will be ending the live stream here. If you guys did enjoy the live stream so far, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below what you guys think I should do next with the Toronto Maple Leafs. If I should trade away some top players of mine when I can, like if I should trade away Austin, or not Austin Matthews, but Morgan Riley, if I should trade away John Tavares when I can, who should I trade away? Should I sign Michelli, or should I sign Robertson? Should I trade away players? What do you guys want to see here for the Toronto Maple Leafs? So, if you guys did like the live stream, like, comment, subscribe, and have a wonderful day.